of a over-the-counter like Creality type printer, and that would be into that range. That's something that you can have in the office and have it print an orthotic roughly in about an hour, depending upon your settings in the printer that you have. So next, we're going to look at materials. And again, the materials that I recommend really are only going to be two right now for orthotics producing with the at your office. And TPU is you're going to be your standard material that's very flexible. You can change the durometer, so you can have your diabetic insoles, although right now you're not covered medically for diabetic insoles that are 3D control some of the materials. So the two basic infills that I'll use are, one is a line infill, and that forms nice squared vertical columns, so the Z shelf is layered one on top of the other, so it is a straight down pressure. And with this one, you have really no compression because you're pushing down into a straight column. So it is very, you can make it very rigid, or you can, spread them out a little bit and have a little bit of variation. But this is one if you want something that's going to be a bit stiffer. Now, TPU will always be flexible, so it will have that bend. It just, when you compress it vertically, the durometer level will increase when you switch to this one. The other one that I like for any type of flexibility or cushion is called a gyroid infill. In this one, you have a squiggly line. It's a little hard to see in this picture, but it's also offset on the Z axis. So as you're building material, the Z steps over a little bit to the side. So if you think about it, it's more like a spring. When I push down vertically on that, depending upon how close the lines are together or how thick those lines are, it'll have more or less rigidity to it. But this one is a very good material for your flexible, so you'll get a little bit of compression with it, and you will be able to control those compressions with a couple other settings. And those settings that we talked about are, one, going to be your infill density. So if you have an infill and you're only having 10% versus 20% versus 30% for the density, you can see you're putting down more layers in between those area, and that'll give you more compression, or obviously the more material you have in there, the firmer the durometer is going to be. There's also, different types of TPU. So you have the number afterward, which is like their standard durometer. So you have like an 87, a 93, or a 95. Though that's how firm that material is. So you can change that a little bit also just by changing the material. So if you printed something in an 87 versus a 95, it's going to vary how squishy that insole is. But you need to play a little bit if you're going to be doing different materials that are outside what your manufacturer recommends.